Hi, guys. I'm Nina,
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Jeremy.
and we are Bloody Essentials. Jamie is not with us this week, unfortunately. She's still taking some time off to be with her family right now, but she will definitely be back with us next week, so stay tuned for that.
We love you, Jamie.
Yes, we love you, we miss you, and we can't wait to have you back. But we are thankful that our producer Jeremy is here to fill in. You have some large shoes to fill, sir, but we appreciate you filling in for Sweden.
Most definitely.
Yes. Quick thank you to all of our listeners for supporting the show. Please continue to support the podcast by following us, leaving a review. Little things like that can really help us out a lot, and it gets the word out. So, also, shout out to our Patreon members, Rick Paulton and Swift. Thank you guys so much for contributing to the show and just going above and beyond to show your love for Bloody Essentials, whether that's sharing your feedback on an episode or, sending messages of support. We appreciate you guys, but more importantly, we appreciate your friendship.
100%.
Yeah. And if you want to hear your name in our episodes as well and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. It's 100% no commitment. You can donate as little or as much as you can each month, and you receive awesome perks like horror goodies from us, merch, Bloody Essentials merch, and unedited episodes several days before they actually air. So that's really cool. And monthly movie parties are hopefully starting up next weekend. We shall see how technology works with that. Yeah. But all of the funds, they go 100% back into the podcast, whether it's upgrading equipment, fixing editing software, travel expenses, that kind of thing. It's all goes back to the podcast. So you're donating to a very good cause. And we have some upcoming appearances we're very excited to share with you guys. We will be at the Logan Theater February 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. That is just a horror meetup for the horror community. Come out, have some drinks with us. We're going to have a good time, do some networking, meet some local filmmakers that are going to be there for horror, and just fellow horror fans. That's going to be a good time.
Yes, if you live in Chicago, please, please, please mark your calendars and come out.
Yes. The Logan Theater is a very historic theater in Logan Square in Chicago, and it's a really cool vibe. They are also doing a screening of The Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney. It's the 100th anniversary of the film, so that is very cool. I love Lon Chaney personally, so come on out, meet some new horror friends, say hello to some old horror friends, and let's have a drink.
Or 7.
Or 7. You're driving. You better not have 7.
No, there'll not be 7 for me.
Okay.
There'll be 8. I'll be taking an Uber. So
Uber is a thing. Uber is a thing. Yep.
Uber's going to be expensive for you.
I know. I live in the sticks, man.
We will also be at Milwaukee Horror Con March 14th through the 16th. And Chicago Horror Film Festival, we're making our first appearance there May 15th through the 18th. So that's exciting.
Yes. And if I could just jump in for a minute.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Horror Fest. This is a new fest, guys. Let's all go out, support CJ and what he's doing. Felicia's going to be there. Dave's going to be there. It's going to be a really good time. Sometimes you think, oh, the bigger ones are the better ones. Not so.
No.
Come on out. This will be a little more intimate. Everybody can hang out, chill out. It's going to be a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah, the smaller ones are better. You don't have to wait in the long lines to meet everybody. You're more intimate with all the people.
Yeah, and usually the celebs are out there hanging out, having dinner, and it's just a more relaxed environment. People aren't on their guard as much, so you can definitely hang out with people more and make more rounds.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So definitely go out to support them. This is their very first year, so this is very exciting. I'm very surprised Milwaukee doesn't have a horror con yet, so very excited for them.
I think it's going to do very good. And the people the people running this, CJ and Ash, who's involved in everything, super nice people.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of all of them. They're very professional, 5-star in everything that they do. So it's going to be a good time.
Definitely. Chicago Horror Film Festival, I already said that. That's going to be a great time as well. That is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that is a big thing. It's Chicago Horror Film. So it's specific to Chicago film artists. And then we will, of course, be at Days of the Dead Indy in June. That's June 13th through the 15th. We always go to that one. That is Ethan's big birthday bash.
That is. So come on out and have a drink with me for my birthday.
Or 7.
Or I'm not driving, or 18. So.
And if you go there, there's a really cool diner like just a block away. We won't walk. We will not be walking. We'll be driving, but that's okay because we're not drinking yet.
Well, why don't we walk? Because I'm fat and I don't walk. So yeah, these two were like, "Oh, it's only a few blocks away. Let's walk." I was like, "I'll see you there. I'll be in the car." So
you're like, "I walk my ass to the car."
Right? I'm gonna walk to the car. I'm gonna drive there. I'll be having breakfast when you get there. So
Exactly. No, the diner over there is a really nice. Like, we're never disappointed. We end up going there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We do.
They're really good.
Yeah. And the staff there is really, really, really cool too.
And a lot of them are horror
nice.
fans.
Yes, they are. We found that out. So
we find that out every year.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Awesome. Well, that's it for upcoming appearances. That's quite a bit. We went from nothing to 0 to 60 in like a week.
And there's more to come. We'll be doing more stuff. So.
Yeah. All right. Tonight is very special because we are covering our very first Universal horror film for the podcast, right? Long overdue. Yes.
Long overdue.
And how better to start than with the original Dracula from 1931. Yes. When was the first time y'all saw this movie? Ethan, I know you probably saw it in theaters, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got something to tell you. I'll wait till we're off of here. Oh God, I don't know. I think probably the first time when I first got into horror. So, I mean, I was young. So 35, 40 years ago, I don't know. This is when my parents were like, okay, you can pretty much watch that because, it's not full of sex and blood and gore and everything.
Yeah.
Although still very scary.
Yeah.
There's some sexual stuff implied in Dracula.
Right. Yeah, there is. But I mean,
for a 5-year-old kid, you're not thinking about
that. You're not thinking you're not thinking any of that, and it's not gratuitous sex and all that good jazz.
It's
but I would say sex. Exactly, classy sex. But I think I was probably I was young. I would say maybe 8, 9. So, and I remember loving it.
Yeah.
And still do. I mean, it's one of my favorites. So,
is this your favorite? Jared? Is this your favorite Universal horror monster?
This is. Yes.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, we've said it on the podcast before, but my nickname for my wife's side of the family is I am the Count, because the first time I ever met my in-laws, I was quite a bit skinnier, but I was picking Stacy up for a Halloween party, and I was dressed as the Count. I had a big flowing cape and teeth adhered to my teeth, and blood and makeup, the whole 9 yards. And I didn't know that my in-laws were home. I thought it was just Stacy, so I went and knocked on the door, gonna pick up Stacy, and my mother-in-law answered the door, and she's like, "Oh, hi, how are you? You must be Ethan." And I was like, "I want to die right now. Right now. I could die on this porch. That would be fine." Yeah.
You should have went with it and been like, "Will you invite me in, please?"
I know, right? So she says, "Come in," and my father-in-law comes out, and he's like, "Hey, you're Ethan. Why are you dressed like that?" My brother-in-law comes upstairs. He's like, "Ha! The Count!" And then I've just been the Count for the last 20 years. So
nothing's changed.
No.
Did you have enough hair to slick back?
I did. I had hair at the time, and it was slicked back and into widow's peak. So bite me, Jeremy. At the time, I did have hair. So, So they like jerseys and stuff for Christmas or birthdays and stuff. I have ones that says the Count, and she has ones that says the Countess, and so
that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm eternally known as the Count. When my brother-in-law texts me, it's Uncle and then the vampire emoji. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Count, what are you doing next weekend?" Or so
that's cute.
I'm the Count.
Jeremy, when was the first time you saw Dracula?
I feel like I was probably younger than Ethan, probably like maybe 6 or something, because I have pictures of me when I was maybe like 6 or 7, dressed up as the Count for Halloween with that amulet and everything. Like I was
Yes.
about it. That was my favorite. I was about it.
Is that still your favorite?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was a little bit older, honestly. I think I grew up watching more of the clips from the movie than I did the actual movie, just because it's so famous.
Okay.
But I finally saw it like around Halloween time. One of those cable networks was finally showing like all of them, and so I think I saw it around at the time I was 11 or 12.
Okay.
So yeah, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it your favorite?
It is not it's not my favorite Universal monster.
Okay.
I love Dracula and I love vampires. Dracula is the ultimate vampire in my opinion.
Definitely.
But my favorite Universal monster is probably Frankenstein.
I kind of figured you were going to say that.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask this. Now I know we're doing 1931 and we'll get into the movie in a minute. Who is your favorite Dracula?
I knew we were going to do this.
Who is your favorite Dracula? And if your answer is not Bela Lugosi, you're wrong. So that's my answer, Bela Lugosi. But
we didn't say who was the best. We just said who is your favorite.
Okay. Well, my favorite and the best is Bela Lugosi. So go ahead.
Okay. I will say the best will always be Bela Lugosi.
Okay.
Okay, I will give you that.
I
But
appreciate that. I don't know why I appreciate it. I didn't do anything for it, but
you didn't. Bela Lugosi did, not you.
Right?
That's really hard. I think my favorite is gonna be Gary Oldman.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay.
I have crossed oceans of time to find you. Of course, it's him. And Winona Ryder as his counterpart. Like, yes.
Okay, Jer.
Mine is, of course, Bela Lugosi, but my second runner is definitely Leslie Nielsen.
Oh my god! Of course, he is phenomenal. Yes.
And I. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it before. Yeah.
What?
I can't get with Dracula asshead. So Gary Oldman.
Hell no.
Yeah, I just can't get with asshead. So
I love it. The every bit of the dramatic, it's just so over the top, and I love it. So
what?
Listen.
You like being over the top?
My preteen, pre-adolescent, prepubescent self loved that fucking movie. Okay, and I think we all know why.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and get into plot points.
Please.
All right, let's get into plot points. Okay, so the movie starts out with like a carriage racing through the mountains, trying to get where it's going. Like these people are bouncing around like crazy and this dude's not stopping. And
he's not
so the one dude's like, "Hey, can you slow down?" It was actually Renfield was like, "Hey, can you slow down?" And people are falling on each other because he's going so fast. And the one dude with like this thick mustache is like, he can't slow down. And then he tells a story about like Nosferatu and how like the devil or evil lives up there, and we have to get there through before sunlight and all that. I think that was a hilarious scene. So they're racing, and then they finally get to their stop, and people are getting off, and Renfield's off, and they're starting to unload the carriage, and Renfield's like, "Hey, leave my stuff on there." He's like, "I'm going to Borgo Pass." So basically he's going to the castle. And then the driver's scared. He doesn't want to go. He's like, "Can't you wait till the morning?" And then he's like, "I can't. I have a carriage waiting for me to take me to the castle, like to do this trade-off."
Yeah.
So eventually he's like, "Okay, I'll take you. But we got to go now." And then it cuts to all the town people like talking like, "You're going to see Dracula?" And they're freaking out. And they're trying to convince him to stay later, like to go in the morning, and he's not having it.
Right.
So this lady walks up to him, and she talks to him. She's like, "Well, if you have to go now," she's like, "Take this." And she takes the rosary off and gives it and puts it around his neck so he's protected all there. So he gets in the carriage and they're racing, and this guy's racing too to go meet him. And then it cuts to the castle, and then it shows like this underground layer with all these caskets, and then they start to open, and then you see all of Dracula's women coming out of the caskets, and then it shows Dracula just.
Dracula's a Mac Daddy.
He is, man. Even the possums were scared of them. You seen the possums running away? I'm like, damn. So, and then it shows Dracula going to walk up the stairs, and then it zooms into like his face, and then it kind of transforms into him sitting on the carriage because he's the carriage rider that's going to take him, and he has the iconic Bela Lugosi look, like his eyes are all white and wide and just like a stern look, like no emotion.
Love it.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the trade-off. The guy that's driving Renfield comes, and he barely even stops because he slows down and he like chucks his damn luggage off, and then he just keeps on rolling.
There's no time to stop.
Yeah,
No
and
time
then
to
I'm like,
stop.
Time.
I was like, where the hell is Renfield? And then the carriage takes off. I'm like, oh, here's Renfield. He must have just tucked and rolled. I don't know what the hell, because he didn't
he
didn't
slowed
stop.
down enough for him to get out, and he was like, "Take your damn luggage."
Yeah, I laughed so hard when he like chucked the luggage and he
Me
almost
too.
ran over it. I'm like, God damn. So then he picks up his luggage and dusts himself off, and then he goes to speak with Dracula, and Dracula just stares at him. He doesn't talk to him at all. He just stares at him, grabs his luggage and just points like, get in.
Yeah.
So then they make their way to the castle, and then all of a sudden Renfield's going to stick his head out the window and be like, hey, can you slow down? Because you're booking it. He sticks his head out the window, and all he sees is like a bat flying with the horse heads. No person, just the bat flying.
Yep.
So he like thinks it's weird and then sticks his head back in the carriage. He's like, okay, no one to tell slow down to.
Right?
And then it finally gets to the castle. He gets out and he walks to the front of the carriage to like talk to him and be like, hey, are you good? Or like, why are you going so fast? There's no one there. No bats, just the horses.
That would be
And
terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And then all of a sudden he's looking around like, all like, where is this guy? And then all of a sudden the door from the castle opens by itself. He looks, he's like, okay, I guess I need to go in, or I should go in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he really needed to make that sale, because I'd have been like, see ya. I gotta go.
You would have gone in.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I would have.
Well, there's nowhere else to go. It's dark
Yeah,
and dark.
exactly. Like
No one's
you're
gonna come get you for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take that carriage back, and I don't think that carriage is going anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it shows Renfield walking into the castle, and then it shows the big pan view of the castle, all full of spider webs, and there's this giant staircase up there, and walks in, and then all of a sudden it shows Dracula with a candle walking down the stairs, and then
Such a
Iconic.
sight.
That is
Love
the
it.
scene I kept seeing over and over again as a kid,
Yes.
like that
Love it.
introduction to Dracula. It's nothing tops it still to this day.
Yes.
yeah. And then, like, I mean, his face, he's actually, like, for as creepy as it is, he seemed, like, so inviting. You know what I mean? He wasn't creepy or, like, just luring them in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you didn't know any better, if you didn't know that the title of the movie was Dracula, you'd be like, it's fine. He's just kooky.
Right. And then all of a sudden you hear, like, wolf sounds in the background, and then he does the iconic line, like, children of the night, what music they make.
Love it so much.
And then he moves his arm to, like, say, come on, let's come up the stairs. And then they finally get up the stairs and into the room, which is his bedroom, but it's huge because there's like a table with like food and stuff. And then he offers him like dinner, and then for the luggage. And then Renfield's all worried about like his luggage. He's like, it has your paperwork to sign and stuff. He's like, don't worry, I had him bring it in. Like, who did you have bring in? Yeah, there was no one out there.
It's like you can't even get somebody to drive the carriage. Like it's just driving itself, man.
Right?
I will say, like beyond just the character of Dracula, it's the movement. that Bela Lugosi does so well. I think that's what sets him apart from other Draculas is the movement
so
where
slow and just elegant.
He can just,
you know what I mean?
Elegant, like he can just gesture and like you know exactly what he wants you to do, and it's just so good. And I think I don't know for sure, but the accent that he used is that like that was his choice, I believe, too. Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, and then Renfield gets in and finally gets calm about the luggage. He sits down, and Dracula's like waiting on him. You know, he pours him some wine. And then while he's doing this, he nonchalantly is like, "You kept this a secret, right? You didn't tell anyone you were coming up here." And he's like, "Yeah, of course I kept a secret," which he fucking didn't.
First off, how can you keep it a secret? Your business sent you there.
And how can you keep it a secret? How the fuck are you going to get there if you don't tell anyone where you're going?
Not only that, but somebody says, "Here, come to my big ass castle. Don't tell anybody you're coming. I'm going to send this car for you who doesn't have a driver. The door's going to open by itself. No one knows you're here, right?" I'd be like, hey, I told everybody. Everybody and their mama know. I told my mama. I told my mama's friend. I told my neighbor. Everybody knows where I'm at. Everybody.
The townspeople saw me get here. Like,
everybody
come on.
knows.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's like, how am I supposed to make arrangements if I don't tell people where I'm going?
Right.
Yeah.
And then next, Renfield pulls out his paperwork and he's talking to Dracula, and he's like, "Are you gonna need?" Dracula's basically telling him, he's like, "I don't need much space, much time to move out." He's like, "I only need 3 boxes. That's it."
3 boxes?
Yep. Yeah, that's what he says.
Just 3 boxes.
Yep. Just need 3 boxes to be carried out. That's it. Everything else can fucking stay here.
And I can provide my own boxes.
No. Make sure you bring those boxes.
So funny. Like, I'm not a sentimental person. I don't need any of this stuff. I'm just gonna leave it here.
So Renfield's like, okay. And then he's going through the paperwork, unfolding it, trying to flatten everything out. And then he cuts his finger on a paper clip. And then he holds his finger down. And this is, might I say, this is the only blood you see in the movie.
Yep.
Is the little blood on his finger. And then Bela Lugosi stops, freezes, looks at him, and it zooms into his face, like with that iconic face. And then he's creeping over to go see the blood on his finger. And then all of a sudden, when Renfield's leaning down, trying to tend to his finger, the crucifix falls, and it goes over his hand where the blood is. And then Dracula covers his face and turns away. And then Renfield, like, looking at him like, it's just a little blood. He's thinking that Dracula's like, "Oh, I can't stand blood. I'm going to pass out." He looks at him like, "It's okay. It's just a little blood." At least he knows.
Right?
Yeah.
Then he pours the wine for Renfield, and Renfield takes a drink of the wine, and he's like, "Are you going to drink with me?" And Dracula's like, "No, I never drink." I would have been like, "All right, bro."
I never drink wine.
That's when you know you can't trust somebody.
You never drink.
Yeah, I'm like, "Sir, you a lie."
Bela Lugosi going non-alcoholic for anybody else.
Right?
Right.
He's doing dry January.
Listen, you're either lying or you don't drink, and then I just don't want to be friends with you anyway. So
he drinks that sparkling wine.
Right?
That's right. Sparkling cider.
Yeah.
His favorite is blood red.
Yes.
So.
Okay. And next it shows Renfield. He's done drinking, eating. He's going to his room, and then I think he hears squeaking. Yeah. And he opens the doors to go out on the balcony, and then you see a bat flying, and then the bat's flying, and all of a sudden Renfield passes out because obviously he was drugged.
Right.
And then once he passes out, you see Dracula's women coming in, and they start coming in, and then Dracula turns into a person from the bat, and then he goes over Renfield like to pick him up and stuff, and then it cuts. And the next scene is them on the ship with the 3 boxes.
And I love how when the women were coming in, they came in and they were like, "Ooh, look, dinner," and he was like, "No, back it up.
This one's mine.
This is mine. This belongs to me."
Love it so much.
Okay, and next it cuts to the cargo ship, and they're in a storm. Let me tell you, the boat is going side to side. It's almost submerged in water from what it looks like. All these waves and shit, but they're handling it. The crew's handling it.
Yep.
And then it cuts to Renfield underneath the deck with the 3 boxes. and then all of a sudden, it must be nighttime because then Dracula wakes, comes out, and then Renfield is turned into a weirdo. I don't even know how to explain it. Like
he was batshit crazy, but
yeah, he was Dracula's bitch for sure.
That's right.
He was like, he sees Dracula, and he's like, Master, can you give me what you promised me? Lives? He wants lives. So basically, little lives of bugs and stuff, and he thinks that like the blood from those little bugs will give him life.
Yeah. So weird. So weird. Ew.
He's like, I'm gonna be one of these good vampires who don't kill people.
Right.
And then they finally get there. They survive. They dock in London. All of a sudden, you see like them open the door. Whoever the porter is, or whoever those people are, and you see Renfield standing there looking all fucking crazy.
Yep.
He's talking about blood and stuff. And they're like, this guy's crazy. So they get him and they put him into a sanitarium, a loony bin.
Yeah, you start eating bugs to think that it's going to give you eternal life. I'm putting you in the loony bin too.
Yeah, facts.
Can I ask you guys real quick? Like, there have been many different Renfields. We've talked about our favorite Draculas, but do you guys have a favorite Renfield?
I know Nina's. I
like this one, but Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult?
Yeah. I think he did great.
Yeah. That's the one in Nosferatu?
No, that's the one in Renfield.
In Renfield, yeah.
So who's y'all's favorite Renfield?
It's really
I like the Renfield from Dracula Dead and Loving It, man. He was I love that damn movie.
That is a really great movie. I remember the first time I saw it and I was just on the floor.
And he even has the weird laugh down when he's like, ha, ha, ha. That laugh is so iconic, man.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard for me. I love what Nicholas Hoult brought to the role, of course. But I don't know if you guys probably haven't seen it, but there is a Dracula the musical. No. And there's I saw it when it was done locally back in Missouri for a production of it. And the actor that played that role was just incredible. And he had like this gritty voice, and there's a great song. I'll link it in the description so you guys can watch it, but, or listen to it. You can't watch it, but there's a Broadway recording of it. And the Renfield in the play is so good and just so fun. And I don't know. I think it's a combination of that character in the musical mixed with Nicholas Hoult. But Nicholas Hoult did something different with it that I haven't quite seen before and probably never will again. Okay. So, yeah. And it has Nicolas Cage in it.
I knew it.
That's just a great movie. Anyways, back to Dracula, 1931.
Okay, now they're in the streets of London, and Dracula's just walking around. He's got a top hat. He looks very, very dapper.
That's the word I was thinking of too. Just
dapper for sure.
Perfect.
Yes.
There is a woman on the street. She's selling flowers, peddling flowers, if you will.
Yes.
And then people are walking by, ignoring her, and then Dracula sees her.
And can I just interject here for a minute? I know she was saying flowers for your buttonhole, but with her British accent, it sounded like she was saying flowers for your butthole. And I was like, what? Wait, no. Okay, buttonhole. Makes sense, because why would you need a flower for your butthole? But yeah.
Maybe you do.
We don't know what they do in London, man. We don't know.
That's true.
That is called a Cockney accent. And you're going to laugh at me because of that. But yes, they don't always enunciate. Their street folk are not educated. Okay?
What kind of accent is it?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
So Cockneyans and buttholes. Got it.
All right, so Dracula sees the woman peddling flowers, and he goes over there, and then when he like kind of puts himself kind of on top of her, but then they when he puts himself on top of her, they fall behind like the wall, and then you hear a scream. So obviously he's drinking her blood. Like they don't show it, so I don't know
Nope.
if they don't show it because of the times it was like
I think
crossing
so.
the line. If they showed it in the 30s or what.
Yeah, there was a lot. When we get to fun facts, there was a lot that they couldn't show because it was the 30s.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
he goes over her and then they fall back behind the wall and then that's it. They don't show anything extra, any other stuff.
Yeah.
Next it cuts.
Well, real quick here, not to get into it too much, but I mean, you could barely even do more than just a simple kiss on screen at this point. Like
Right.
most of the time, if you notice in older movies, they like turn away and you just see like the man's back or whatever. You don't actually see the kiss. And let alone like a guy sucking on a woman's neck, you're not going to see that.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. Next, it shows the cop blowing the whistle because he finds the woman's dead body, and then like there's a dead woman over here, and then all the people are like around her, you know, seeing what's happening, and then it shows Dracula he walks into a theater, no ticket or nothing, he just strolls right in. He walks in, and the chick was like, "Here, let me show you your seat." Like, where the fuck is your ticket, bro?
So stupid. Yeah.
And then I don't know how he knew this, but he went up to the balcony, right? He went up to the balcony and he like mesmerizes this girl that's basically waiting on the people that are up in the balcony or skybox, whatever it is. Basically tells her like telepathically, like, you need to talk to this doctor and tell him he has a phone call. So she does it and tells the doctor is Dr. Whitney, who is the doctor of the sanitarium, that he has a phone call so he can leave. And then Dracula starts chopping it up with the girls on the balcony, you know, talking with them, flirting with them. And then one of the girls' names is Nina. She's Dr. Whitney's daughter. And then the other girl, I think, is just her friend that's there with them.
Yep.
So then they have that conversation. The doctor comes back and they cut the conversation short, and then that's it. Next, it shows the girls from the skybox in their room, getting ready for bed, and they're both like gossiping and kind of like fawning over Dracula, but at the same time like goofing about his language, like talking about like, because at one point Dracula says how being dead must be so cool, you know, something like along those lines. And they're joking about how he said that. And then
weird. I don't think they would be joking about that, but I definitely think that, you know, teenage girls, they're definitely like, oh, the new stranger in town. Like, oh, isn't he so handsome? Like, of course.
Right. Yeah. And then while I think Nina goes to the balcony to shut the shades. And then all of a sudden, Dracula's walking outside by the fence, and he sees her. You know, he sees her going to shut the shades. He said, "Okay." Then next, it shows Dracula. It shows these bats flying. Dracula turned into a bat, and he's flying into the girl's room. And while they're laying down in bed, they see the bat coming, but they don't like freak out or nothing. They're just laying there. I'm like, all right,
right.
Yeah, and then I think he hypnotizes them because all of a sudden they start to fall asleep really fast. Like they're wide awake and then their eyes start to shut like out of nowhere.
He's got shit to do. He cannot wait around for these people.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, let's go.
Like
I'm on a time crunch. People are here.
Right? I feel you, Dracula. We can't wait around for people. We got things to do. I mean, now, granted, I'm not trying to like turn anybody into a vampire, but we still got things to do.
And then it shows him turn from a bat into a person, and then he does what he did with Renfield. When you seen Renfield cut his finger, he kind of like does his creepy like walk over, like luring, and then he goes over to the girl. He goes over to the girls, and like he sees their neck, and he like kind of moves in, and then the camera cuts away because it's not going to show you what's going on next.
Right.
But then we assume he like drank their blood or killed him or whatever.
Yeah.
Next, it cuts to Dr. Stewart in the examining room. The examining room, it looks like a class. Because like he's examining a dead body, and then there's all these people sitting around, like he's giving a class or a speech or something.
Yeah, he's giving like a lecture and like teaching these people basically about death or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the woman on the table isn't Nina, but it's Nina's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she's dead. And then the doctors down there are examining her, and he's got like he's looking real close, and then he says this body died from blood loss. He said the same 2 marks on the neck. It was found from the other victim, and he was referring to the woman selling flowers.
Right, the flowers for the butthole.
Yep.
Which is ironic because I don't think that these doctors would have historically cared about a woman selling flowers that randomly dies on the street, you know? Like
Right.
I don't think that they would have gotten word of that soon. I think more people would have died first, but I understand for the sake of the story we have to move it along.
I mean, even if she had a couple dots on her neck, they'd probably be like, I don't know, maybe she's a drug,
like a drug.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like I don't think that they would have cared about one street urchin selling flowers that just dropped dead. Like people drop dead all the time in London, but yeah, for the sake of the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Renfield's room in the sanitarium, and then there's like an orderly with them. And then Renfield starts freaking out because this guy, Renfield's about to eat a big juicy spider, and this orderly steals the spider from him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he throws the spider out the window, and Renfield's like, "What are you doing? I was going to eat that." So Renfield's still being crazy. I don't know. He's not going
hungry, man.
But he's not going through lengths to get out of there. At least act normal so you can leave.
And
He's not worried about
crazy
that.
Well,
he is not worried about leaving. He knows that the master will set him free.
That's right.
Just not in the way he thinks.
Well, but Renfield, that guy played crazy well.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And that laugh, man, that laugh is so funny.
Yes.
I love that laugh.
So good.
Next, it shows a new doctor in like a study, and he's doing these experiments on blood, which come to find out it's Renfield's blood. And the doctor is no other than Dr. Van Helsing.
Yes.
And then he's telling the other doctors sitting there with him that the colleagues, he tells his colleagues that he's dealing with undead, not Nosferatu like signs in the blood. Like it's telling him this, it's dead. And next it shows Renfield being brought into like a meeting that Van Helsing is having with it's outside of those doctors. He's like having another meeting with the doctor of the sanitarium, and then Renfield gets brought in because he wants to meet him because he checked out his blood. And then all of a sudden Van Helsing pulls out this I think it's a weed or a little
Wolfsbane.
Yeah, it's called Wolfsbane. And Renfield freaks out. He's like, "What is that?" Like, get it away from me, you know?
Yeah. Wolfsbane is actually quite lethal to humans. So, yeah. It's interesting, the history of Wolfsbane and how it's been used for medicinal purposes over time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently the undead don't like it either.
No, they don't.
So
And while Renfield's freaking out, then he says Van Helsing knows too much as they're pulling him out the door. So you're like, he must have been encountered. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna annoy the shit out of you guys. Who's your favorite Van Helsing?
I don't really have one.
I go with this one.
This one's your favorite?
Yeah, I have to go with this one.
Okay.
Yeah, the original.
This one is pretty cool. All the other Van Helsings they made it more than just the doctor. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it more than what it was.
Okay. Yeah. My least favorite Van Helsing is actually Anthony Hopkins.
Okay.
He's just creepy. I can't stand in that movie. He's just so cringe to me. My favorite, because they did make it more than what it was Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
I like the aspect that he's a killer. Like he hunts these people
hunter
down. Yeah.
The hat and the trench coat, like, come on, bro.
It's just such an iconic look, man.
You're a fucking doctor. Get over it.
Right?
No. He's not a doctor in that one. He's just like, he is what is the word? He works for the church to hunt these creatures down because they are pure evil and there's no redemption for them. Like that is the kind of story I need. And he's
not at all doctorish. So
what?
Not at all doctorish.
Not at all doctorish at all.
Doctor's
No.
supposed to help us.
No, he did not help anybody.
No.
Literally, the woman he loved died in that movie. Didn't help anybody.
All right. And then next it cuts to a scene. Dracula, he's back. He's back to where Nina's room is, and it shows him flying into her room. And then he gets close to her again, and then basically it cuts away, but he drinks her blood. So at this point, we would think that she's dead. He's just drained her.
Yeah.
Right.
But then the next morning, it shows Nina talking to Van Helsing about a dream she had, which basically was about a reality like Dracula drinking her blood. So he didn't drain her. He just drank from her. And at this point, we don't know what the deal is, why he didn't kill her.
Yeah. She is definitely different from the other women that he's encountered up to this point. Yeah.
Right. And then Van Helsing sitting across from Nina, and he's getting really close to her as she's like telling the story. Nina has this scarf around her neck, and he's like, "What's with that scarf around your neck?" He's like, "Can I take it off?" And she lets him, and he removes the scarf, and then he sees the vampire bites, and he's like, "You got those bites on your neck." And then Nina's fiance John starts.
Yeah.
He sees it, his eyes get all big, and he rushes over to her like, "What's going on with you?" And then while they're having the conversation, Dracula appears. But he doesn't come as a bat like he usually does. He goes to the front door, and then the people introduce him as like, "This is Dracula" and all that, and he starts talking to him.
He's gone legit.
Yeah,
Right?
He's gone legit.
Yeah, he's gathering intel now. He's like, I can use my I guess, he's already met them basically, so he can use this relationship to his advantage.
Yep.
Right.
True manipulation.
Right. And then everyone is kind of on edge a little bit about what's going on except for Dracula. So Dracula's over there, and he's really into talking to Nina. Like he talks to the other people, but he's really talking to Nina, seeing what's going on with her.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina's fiance John, he's still in shambles. So he goes over, and they have like this fancy silver box that he lifts open, and there's a mirror inside, and there's cigarettes in there. And he goes to light a cigarette, and then he doesn't notice it, but Van Helsing looks over at the cigarette box on the mirror, and he doesn't see Dracula's reflection as he's talking to Nina, and it's like light bulb.
So iconic.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Van Helsing walks over to the cigarette box, and then it shows it again, like there's no reflection. Nina's talking to the air.
Yeah.
So then Van Helsing is conversating with John, and then Dracula walks over to Van Helsing, and he starts conversating with him. And then Van Helsing picks up the box, and the box is closed. And he turns the box towards Dracula, and he opens it so Dracula can see that his reflection isn't there. As soon as he opens it, Dracula slaps the box out of his hand, all mad, and he's like, And as soon as he cracks it out, he pauses and does like a look at him, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then he brings himself back together like Dracula does, very debonair, and he's like, "I'll be leaving now." And he walks out the door. He walks out the door, and then John, the fiance, goes. Well, Dracula leaves, and then he goes to walk to the outside to see where Dracula went, and then he's like, "He's not there. I just seen like a wolf go across the lawn, but Dracula's not there."
Mm.
So here's like another thing that Dracula can maybe turn into a werewolf too, as long as a bat. So they do like a crossovers that most movies leave out about like Dracula or bats and Dracula and werewolves crossing over.
I'm not sure. I think the Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, they implied that he could turn into a wolf as well.
Yeah.
But they never showed him as a bat, I don't think. So I think in the original story, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's been a very long time since I've read the original book, but they imply that he can shapeshift. So he's
Yeah.
got the fog, he's got the bat, he's got the wolf thing. And they don't do a very good job of explaining it in this movie, but he's very powerful, obviously. So he can change his shape at will.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what that is.
Next, they're still in the same room after Dracula leaves. It's still like the same scene, and then Van Helsing is talking with John and Nina's father about, like, he suspects that Dracula is a vampire, and he's basically saying there was no reflection in the mirror. How Dracula, he needs dirt from his house or from his homeland to rest in. So they're like, well, how does he get dirt? He's like, he must have brought it over with him.
Well, he just needed 3 boxes worth.
Right. That's it. That's all he needs.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Dracula in his human form. He's standing by a tree, and he's like calling to Nina, and Nina comes to him, and he takes his cape and just wraps it around her. So basically, he feeds from her again because it shows her. And then it shows her coming back, and she's not dead. So he just keeps on feeding from her, but not draining her and killing her all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also says, I don't know if we got to this part yet. Remember, she said that he cut an artery and fed her blood.
Yeah.
Fed her his blood. So
yeah.
She was alive.
And if you are familiar with your vampire lore, that is a big indicator that he is in fact trying to turn her into a vampire. So he's going to make her one of his brides.
Yes.
I am curious, like, so he's got other brides already. So it's like, what makes them special that sets them apart? Because versus just feeding on them, like the flower girl. So that would be something that I would be interested in. But I don't think there's any one particular movie that ever discusses that.
No, and that would be a good point, which will bring me to my next one. Dracula, why the hell do you want 4 wives? Listen.
He's Mormon, bro.
Right? I'm like, listen, I love my wife. I'm not saying that, but I couldn't deal with 4.
4.
I just couldn't do it.
But one pisses you off. It's like on to the next one. Maybe she'll be cool.
Maybe, but I was like, listen, I'm having a hard enough time with 1. can't do 4. So
he just wants to keep his options open. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Change the scenery, damn it.
Yeah. I don't know how he'd keep it all straight, to be honest. But I mean, I guess if they get mad at him, he can just snap their neck and be done with them. But yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, like, you're trying.
I'm tired of you. You're boring. Yeah. I'm just, I'll make a new one.
Divorce? No, snap.
Yeah. So. You don't remember my birthday. Well, I don't even remember your name, Snap.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. And next, they find Nina, like, laying outside because she's drained, she's weak. So they pick her up, bring her inside. Van Helsing, like, really knows what the hell's going on now because he's like, let's put Wolfbane, like, around her room. We're gonna put her in her bed. We're gonna put like a necklace of it around her to keep her safe from Dracula. He's ready to catch this guy. He's like, come on, let's go, bro.
Yeah.
So after they do all that, Van Helsing is having a meeting of like how to kill Dracula. How are we gonna kill Dracula? And then here comes Renfield's crazy ass. He escapes his room and he walks in on him, talking about how they're gonna kill Dracula. And he's like, he made this look, and he's like, he's about to like explain to them. I think he's cracked. He's like gonna explain to them what's going on with Dracula. But before that happens, here comes Dracula. Dracula appears.
Yeah.
He appears, and then he confronts Van Helsing. Like, he walks up to Van Helsing, and basically he's telling him he needs to go back to his own country, and telling him it's too late to save Nina. And then this is where he tells him his blood flows through Nina's veins. This is the part. And then Van Helsing tells Dracula he's going to kill him, basically. And then Dracula, he does the iconic picture where you see like Dracula's hand out. Yes. He's trying to hypnotize Van Helsing, and like it's kind of working, but Van Helsing has fight in him, and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
so Van Helsing,
You get the vibe that Van Helsing's been doing this for a while, and like he probably hasn't gone up against vampires as strong as Dracula, but he's had the practice and field
I love it.
experience.
I love it when Count Dracula first did it. He's like, "Come here," like all forceful. He's like, "Come here," and then he was like, "Oh shit, it didn't work."
No, what
he flips his hand around. Yeah,
he flips his hand around. He's like, "Come here."
That's a strong pose when you flip your hand around.
This
That's
is
a strong pose.
That's when you turn
hand, bitch.
that's when you turn the gun sideways to show you mean business. Yeah.
Yeah.
At first he was just like, "Look at my nails. What do you think?" And he was like, "I said, look."
Seriously, he went from all authoritative to, "Oh shit, that didn't work. Let me ask you in a different way. Come here."
Yes. Please.
Yes.
And now
I'm actually looking at my Dracula. I have a Dracula statue of him going like this, right in front of me. I love it.
How iconic.
You need the other pose, the strong hand one.
Right, the strong hand pose.
Yeah. All right, and then in that same scene, Van Helsing like kind of goes over to Dracula, but not because he's hypnotized, because he pulls out a damn crucifix, and Dracula's like, "Oh hell no!" He turns into a bat. He's fucking gone.
Right,
He's out of there.
He's like, "Peace."
And now it shows Nina and John, which is Nina's fiance. They're outside, and she's talking to him, you know, like how she feels different, and she's trying to convince John to get rid of all the wolfbane that's around the house. And I don't know, he's like kind of about it. He's like, maybe I'll do it, and then
I think he's just under her spell. Like she's starting to gain a little bit of some vampire power, and she's like trying to manipulate him because that side of her is like, this is not good. I don't like any of this.
Right.
And so she's trying to take advantage of that, because I don't think if he were in his right mind, he would be like, definitely don't want to go up against Van Helsing. Like, he scares me.
Right. But then saying that, here comes Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Conversation, and then I don't know, Van Helsing must have some power over people or what, but then once she sees Van Helsing, she starts admitting, she's like, I'm beginning to turn into a vampire. He drank my blood. He made me drink his.
Yeah. I think he just has one of those personalities where you just like, you know, he's just the type of person where you just can't lie to them.
He don't take no shit.
Well, yeah, probably like is like a father figure or just an authoritarian figure to her. So she's just very intimidated and is like, listen, I don't want no trouble.
Right?
Shit, even from Dracula, he don't take no shit from Dracula. He's like, oh, you trying to hypnotize me? Here's a crucifix, fucker.
Right?
Exactly. Van Helsing's a true badass.
Next, it cuts to Nina like laying in her bed, and then Dracula returns to her room again.
Yeah.
He basically wakes her up and has her come with him, you know. Yep. So she's following Dracula. They're going through these woods and stuff, and then all of a sudden, Dracula brings her to where he's been staying, his lair. Then while he goes in, and then it shows Van Helsing and John. They're also out searching, looking. Now it doesn't say like if they notice Nina's gone or not, so I'm not sure why they're searching. If they're just looking for Dracula or if they're looking for Nina because she's missing.
Yeah.
But
I think they were just going to find Dracula to kill him.
Yeah.
They didn't know that Nina was gone yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Till they looked in the window.
Right. So they're going through, and then all of a sudden they see Renfield's crazy ass out there with a light. He's going to Dracula's lair, and they see him, and then they follow Renfield and find he shows them the way without knowing where Dracula's lair is. And then the door opens, and it shows like Nina walking out, and Dracula walks behind her, and you see the big staircase coming down. And then Renfield opens the door, crazy as hell. He's like, Master. He's like, I found you. And then as Renfield walks in, Dracula looks down through the window, and he sees John and Van Helsing. And Dracula's like, you fucker, you brought him here.
Right?
Yeah. He is not happy anymore.
Yeah. So Renfield starts walking up the stairs to meet Dracula, and Dracula like goes around Nina to meet Renfield, and he's gonna kill his ass. He's like, "You brought them here."
Yep.
So Dracula grabs him by the neck and throws him down the stairs, and Renfield rolls down the stairs and off the edge, and that's it. Renfield is gone.
Yeah.
I loved that. How he's like, do, boom.
Yeah.
Off the side. I was like, there's no railing here. I'm just going to fall off.
Yeah. Master's not disappointed. He's mad.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Renfield woke up dead.
Yeah. He won't be around for the next Dracula movie.
No.
Yeah. He ain't even gonna bring him back. He's like, no, you're
not even worth my time. Yeah.
On to the next, just like my wives.
Exactly. Speaking of that, I just had the epiphany that he left his 3 wives back in Romania. Didn't even bring them with him. That would have required more boxes.
He was like, listen, stay here, clean up this castle. I'm going to get your sister wife. I'll be back.
Yeah. And we can't even say he brought them over because he brought 3 boxes. So he maybe only brought 2.
That's true. Or maybe he brought a box. Maybe he just brought 1 because, well, I don't know. What if they're all from different countries and he just couldn't find the dirt? So he's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I think he brought 3. He brought 1 for him, 1 for who he was going to turn. And then he had to have a spare in case he needed to knock boots with somebody. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Right. Keeping his options open always.
Exactly.
Always.
So we don't know. We're just throwing that all out there. But in my head, that's what happened. So
in my head, he just brought over 3 boxes of dirt, and 1 was for him, and then 2 were backups because whoever he turned would need London soil. They wouldn't need his soil. So
right.
Yeah.
You never know. Shit happens. You need extra dirt for sure.
Yeah, because you got assholes coming out of the blue trying to take his dirt.
That's right.
And that ride was rough.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have y'all seen the last voyage of the Demeter?
Yeah.
No.
Jerry, you need to watch if you're a Dracula fan.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Dracula fans need to watch it.
Definitely.
All right. Next
it is a dark movie though.
Oh my God. Turn your TV brightness all the way up. I saw it in theaters and I was like, it was still really hard to see. Like there were moments where it was just like pitch black.
Yeah.
Because they were wanting you to like lean closer to like try to see, and then something would jump out at you. Yeah. But it was a really good movie. The effects were phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next, Dracula scoops up Nina and he hears them hitting at the door. So he's grabbing Nina and he's like, I'm going downstairs to my lair before these fuckers get in. So he scoops her up and then he closes the door. As soon as he closes the door to go downstairs, they break through the main door to go chase him down. And then they have to bang through the next door to get to the lair.
Yep.
Dracula takes her down to like the basement part, I guess, where in the beginning where it first shows Dracula, where it shows where he would have the coffins like laid out.
Yeah.
So he has like the same thing, but in London this time, laid out the same.
Yeah.
John and Van Helsing break through the second door and make their way down, and they discover all the coffins, but they don't know where Dracula is. They can't find Nina, so they're exploring, and then they come to this coffin, and Van Helsing is like opening them, and he opens it and sees Dracula sleeping there, getting his beauty sleep, Yeah. He closes it, and then he tells John, go find something for me because I'm going to put a stake through this dude's heart.
Yeah.
So John...
Okay, pause for a sec. Why didn't y'all just bring fucking stakes? Like, you knew you were going to try to kill them. Right. Why didn't we have stakes ready?
You were on a hunt, right?
You would think.
You would think. But we're just going to easily find some stakes in this castle that's the only thing that can kill him. Okay.
But he's a doctor. He doesn't think ahead like the other Van Helsing.
Clearly, his medical training did not prepare him for this situation. I see.
He was on a hunt, not a killing spree.
But
he is not Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing.
He worked it out. He worked it out.
He
started breaking his coffin. So
he improvises. He takes the lid off and fucking breaks it up. He's like, "Oh, this is wood. Let me make a stake out of this shit."
Right.
I feel like Dracula was up at some point, like.
Right.
He sleeps good. He's
a hard sleeper.
He's undead, but when he sleeps, he's fucking dead.
He is like the dead. Yeah.
Right. So he makes a makeshift stake, and then all of a sudden, here comes John with like this piece of metal he found on the fucking ground. I don't know.
Yeah.
He leaves it out. leaves it on one of the coffees. He's like, here you go, bro. I'm gonna go find Nina. He takes off, and then he grabs and then Van Helsing grabs the stake, puts it over, kneels down, puts it over Dracula's heart, and then he grabs that metal piece he got, and he hits him in the heart and kills him. And then it cuts to where it shows Nina, and Nina's awake. She's standing somewhere that's not there.
Yeah, she off in a corner.
Right. She watching it go down.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden she does this like hit, like someone hit her in the heart. So basically, because she's still connected to him, she feels what he feels, I'm guessing. And all of a sudden when he dies, you can see like a weight lifted off her shoulders, because then she like stands too. And then John finds her and goes to her and he hugs her. And then Van Helsing comes over and sees him, and then they leave and go up the stairs that they once came in. And then movie ends. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And all the brides in Romania are wondering what the hell happened and why they're about to die.
Right?
See, I wonder,
or why they're all free now.
Right, I wonder if they would be free now or not. I'm not sure.
See, from what I remember from most or typical vampire lore, is when you kill the master, the others die too.
Else,
yeah. So in my head, that's what happened.
But Nina didn't die.
Why didn't Nina die?
Because she's not fully turned yet.
Oh,
She's not fully turned. Yeah,
that's true. True.
So, and in order to fully turn, do you have to take your own life? Do you have to drink your own blood? Because that's also vampire lore.
I think you have to. Do you have to drink your own blood, or do you have to drink
the
vampire?
You have to drink your own. Either the vampire blood will turn you, or you have to kill your own human.
Oh, I see.
And drink their. What I meant by your own blood was
I see. You have to drink a human's blood. Yes.
Yes. Do your own kill.
Yes.
You have to turn someone else, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to turn somebody. You have to kill somebody and taste and drink their blood by choice. Yeah.
Turn them and burn them, baby.
That's right.
Yeah. I firmly believe that like you don't fully become a vampire until you do that. So
right.
Because vampirism, if it existed, like it has its perks and it has a cost too. And one of those costs is taking human life. So despite what Twilight tells us.
Vampires do not sparkle.
And they don't eat bunnies.
They glisten. They glisten.
Right.
Okay.
This isn't Baywatch.
Right?
No, Baywatch needs baby oil to glisten.
That's fair. Baby's oil. Yes.
Right.
All right. Are we ready for some fun facts?
Yes, please.
All right.
Oh, old man, grandpa.
Shut up. Okay. As we know, this was in 1931.
Yes.
So the 30s had to censor a lot during the movie, like you were saying, the kisses, the blood. They had a big problem with the bugs coming out of the coffin.
Really?
And the brides of Dracula, even being so, although they were fully dressed, they were scantily dressed, and they had issues with, issues with that.
Too much bosom showing.
Exactly. There was no score to this movie until 1998.
Can you imagine watching this movie with no music?
No score? No way.
That music is so beautiful, too.
Yes.
Wow.
It would have been a definitely different movie without the score.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bela Lugosi was so good at portraying Dracula, probably because in 1927, he was in the stage play production of Dracula.
Yep.
So for 4 years, he was Dracula before he was Dracula in the movie.
Yep.
Bela Lugosi was not the first choice for Dracula.
Yeah, because they didn't like his accent, right?
Well, no. The founder of Universal, the president, said, "Okay, if you're going to do this Dracula movie, fine. I want Lon Chaney. That's who it has to be."
That's valid. Lon Chaney was huge back then.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't know why he didn't get Lon Chaney, if he was busy or whatever, but
probably
Bela Lugosi got it.
Yeah. I also don't think that Lon Chaney, like I love Lon Chaney, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Lon Chaney has the gravitas or the pull, the magnetism that Bela Lugosi does.
I agree. Love Lon
Yeah.
Chaney, but I don't think he could have pulled this
No.
off. This was definitely
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi's role.
You need like a European kind of look, and
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi's got it, obviously.
Yes. David Manner, who played John Hatcher, he starred in 4 other films with Bela Lugosi, other than Dracula.
Sure.
Now, he died in 1998 and still had never seen Dracula.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Personal choice or?
Don't know. That's just he had never seen it.
Wow, crazy.
Yes. And David, obviously, who played John, was paid more than Bela Lugosi was, who was the actual star.
Is that because he was an unknown at the time, Bela Lugosi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David was paid $500 a week for 7 weeks.
$500 a week is nothing.
Well, in 1931, it was a lot of money.
No, even back then, like I don't
So-
really think it's that much.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, so he made more than Bela Lugosi made.
Does it say how much Bela Lugosi made?
It did not tell me.
Aw.
No, it did not tell me. So those are the fun facts that we have for Dracula. There were some other facts, but they weren't all that fun. So I left them out. So
That's fair. No,
I mean,
that's really interesting. All right, let's get into rating this movie. Jeremy, you want to start?
I love this fucking movie. I mean, there's not many negatives I can say, just like goofy mishaps and stuff.
Yeah.
It was shot beautifully. Lighting was beautiful. Storyline was super cool.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything negative to say about this. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree. I think that the only drawback that you might have is with modern audiences who aren't accustomed to seeing older movies, which I am not because my lifeblood is in older movies. That's primarily what I watched as a kid. So I can forgive its mishaps because it was a product of the time. And with all that being said, like this is such an incredible adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel, and Bela Lugosi's iconic. When most people think of Dracula, they still think of Bela Lugosi, regardless of how many adaptations have been done.
Yeah.
And like it's just a must watch for any horror fan. So I'm gonna have to give this probably about an 8.5, just to be generous here. Or I mean, toe the line, I guess. Like I can see its cons and whatever, but it's a great movie. It's a definite must watch for any horror fan. So
yeah. Okay.
Ethan?
I absolutely love this movie. Now I can see what you're saying about the newer horror people watching it and being like, because when I showed it to Josh when he was, I don't know how old he was, but he was a lot younger. This is one of the ones I let him watch early because it's not full of blood and sex and all that.
Yeah.
And he was really intent and he was watching it and he watched it and I got done and he said, "What'd you think?" He's like, "It was a good movie, Dad." He's like,
Wow.
but it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, it's not scary compared to what you think, but
Right.
At the time, people were fainting.
Well, that's what I said. I said
Yeah.
at the time, people were just freaking out because, and he's like, yeah, they were wrong. He's like,
well,
it wasn't scary. He's like, but it was a good movie. So,
fear is subjective, and we've also,
Yeah.
a lot of us are desensitized
yeah,
because we've seen much worse.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's my kid, so I mean,
Yeah. He
These
is
people-
obviously desensitized.
these people get the head cut off, and he's like,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But if you're face to
So-
face with Bela Lugosi, you'd be shitting yourself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially those eyes, man. That look he gives.
That magnetism,
Creepy.
I'm telling you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's creepy.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I will always watch it anytime it's on. I watch it minimum of once a year.
Yeah.
I mean, minimum of once a year. I try to watch it 2-3 times a year. I think it is a near perfect movie. No, it's not perfect. I know that. So,
But
but
for
it's
you.
it is near perfect for me.
Yeah.
So, watch it anytime. Strongly suggest that you watch it. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Ooh, so close.
Nice. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
close. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a great movie. It's cemented itself amongst, in horror history forever. So Definite must watch. If you're wanting to get into Universal horror monsters, start with Bela Lugosi.
And then if people are like horror fans, it's a black and white movie. It came out in the 30s.
Yeah.
You should get in a state of mind where like what it's going to be. It's not going to have all the gore. You just taper your expectations back of the gore and just know what it's going to be about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also don't be deterred by an old movie because, just because it's as Tom Savini said, and I will quote this till my dying breath, just because it's an older movie doesn't mean it's old. It just means it's new to you. And the technology may have changed, but the story is there and the acting is there. And like they put a lot of care into this movie and it is phenomenal.
And it's an older movie. I would rather watch this movie than probably 80% of the garbage that has been put out lately.
Oh my God.
And I say lately, probably within the last 20 years, I'll even say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some crap out.
And just because a movie's shot in black and white doesn't mean it's a garbage movie. Like maybe the first 5 minutes is off-putting, but after that, you don't even realize it's in black and white anymore.
No.
Yeah, no. Like you were saying, Ethan, I've seen a lot of garbage lately, especially 2024. Oh my God, so many bad movies. Like, I think we are just so used to having an abundance of media at our disposal.
Yes.
We don't think about some of those classic films that had such an impact on horror. You would not have your Michael Myers, your Jason Voorhees without the predecessors.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the Universal horror monsters, we wouldn't have any of this.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this. So.
Yeah. They pushed the boundaries of what could be shown in horror, and here we are today. So.
Yes.
Yep. So that is Dracula from 1931. If you like this, if you want to hear more about Universal horror monsters, let us know. Let us know your favorites. Let us know your least favorites. And of course, tell us your favorite Dracula. And if it's not Bela Lugosi, Ethan will hunt you down.
That is facts. I won't hunt you down. I'll just, the next time I see you at a con or something, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yes.
So.
and just know it's okay to be wrong.
It is okay to be wrong. I mean,
it's okay to have different opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's okay to have different opinions.
Yeah.
Just on this, it wouldn't be a different opinion. You'd just be wrong.
Right.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
See, me and Jeremy.
Don't give us that. We'll come in with a strong one.
We'll come with a strong hand.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just think of Scary Movie 2. I'm going to use my strong hand.
Strong hand.
All right, guys.
The next time we're at a con, I'm going to do that to the bartender. I'm going to be like, I need a drink. Bring me a drink.
Stronger.
Right? Stronger.
Don't water it down either. All right, guys. Just remember, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs.
And certainly, don't die. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.